We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
The Dialogue, the community voice of Southern California's young professional network. Relevant discussions about the thoughts, concerns, opportunities, and challenges faced by today's generational leaders. Real talk, real people. This is The Dialogue. The Dialogue with Starlett Quarles on LA Talk Live and streaming live at www.latalklive.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to The Dialogue. Real talk, real people. I'm your host, Starlett Quarles, and we're on live at latalklive.com and also streaming live at 1690 AM, the one, the voice of the voiceless, all the way out in Omaha, Nebraska. As always, The Dialogue is the voice of our generation. So thank you so much for joining us here every Wednesday from 5 to 6, where we like to discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. Today we are concluding our 2-month series on the dynamics of Black relationships. For the past month, we have been talking about marriage. We started off talking about life after divorce. We spent 2 weeks talking about how do we make marriage work. And today, we talking about the nasty, y'all. We talking about marriage and sex. We're being unrated, so if you have children in the room, please ask them to leave. This is a rated R conversation today with our conversation on marriage and sex. This is, as it has been for the past 2 months, a 90-minute special. This is a community conversation, so we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 323-473-3100, 323-473-3100. This is a Skype number, so we can hold multiple calls. So if you do call, we're going to ask you to please hold, and we're going to try to get to all your calls. So hold on as long as you can. Again, 323-473-3100. If you missed any of our shows on our Black Love series, you can always check out our archives on our website at thedialoguela.com. That is thedialoguela.com. If you missed last week's show, we discussed marriage. How do you make it work? This was part 2 of a 2-week discussion. And on our panel, we had Renee Chapman, who's going to be returning with us this evening, Monique Edwards, Manla Kaise, and Derek Steele. And our guests tonight are going to be talking about how do they make sex work in their marriage. And we have entrepreneurs Sarah Aiken, Renee Chapman, Kenneth Fleming, and Tony Wayford all here to conclude my 2-month series on the dynamics of Black relationships, talking about sex and marriage, the truth about sex and marriage. Again, the number to call in, 323-473-3100, or you can always hit us up with your comments or your questions on our Facebook page, facebook.com/thedialoguela. You can tweet me at Starquar. You can text me if you do have my cell number. Text me your questions. And if you want to watch us, please remember to download our apps or the apps from Ustream or TuneIn Radio. You can listen to us and watch us live on your phone, or you can watch our replays after today's show. Today's show is brought to you by UrbanX Marketing and our sponsor for the month, natural hair care stylist and trichologist, Dr. Carrie Williams of Mahogany Hair Revolution. Please check her out at drcarriewilliams.com. Now, before we go to commercial break, we want to recognize that today is the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. As many of you know, August 28th, 1963, Dr. King delivered one of the most powerful speeches in American history right on the steps of the Washington Monument. So we want to make sure that today we celebrate and acknowledge that as Black Americans, we have come far, but we still got a long way to go. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the truth about sex and marriage. Right here with me, Starlett Quarles on The Dialogue. Real talk, real people. We'll be right back.
Who's jamming to my nasty groove? Nasty boys. Ladies, nasty boys don't mean a thing. Oh, you nasty boys.
Hi, this is Barbara Perkins, inviting you to join us every Sunday afternoon at 2:40 for Sisters at the Well Radio, a conversation with women about women. Join us as we share stories about current events, jazz events, business opportunities, health and wellness, entertainment, and so much more. So don't forget to tune in Sundays at 2:40, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hello world, how you living? This is D Brex, your host of the all-new rap project here on LA Talk Live. That's latalklive.com, or you can find me on iTunes Radio in the R&B section. That's the rap project every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. West Coast time, so don't be late. On the Rap Project, I will be playing the very best of rap and hip-hop that goes beyond the ordinary. So connect with me, your host, D-Brax, the rap connoisseur, on the Rap Project every Wednesday at 7, right here on latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk.
Welcome back to the Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. I'm your host, Starlett Quarles, and we're on live at LA Talk Live. And today we are concluding our 2-month series on the dynamics of Black relationships. And we're concluding this series talking today about marriage and sex. In fact, the truth about marriage and sex. This is a 90-minute special, so we've allotted some time for you to give us a call with your comments or questions. So make sure you do at 323-473-3100, 323-473-3100. I'm extremely excited about our panelists today, so let me get started with entrepreneur and adult toy and intimacy expert, Ms. Sarah Aiken. She is the owner of After 5, and she has been married to her husband Hansel for over 18 years. So please welcome Ms. Sarah Aiken to the show. Welcome, lady.
Thank you. Good
to
be here.
First time on the Dialogue.
Yes.
So you're going to keep it real today, right?
Yes, I am.
Sitting next to her, we have Mrs. Renee Chapman, who is the esthetician and beauty expert. The name of her spa is I Do Faces right here in Leimert Park, and she has been married since she was 18 years old. And she was on our show last week, so we had her come back to talk about marriage and sex. So please welcome Renee. Welcome back, lady. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Now, you know I cannot have a conversation on sex without having my next two guests, a longtime friend to the Dialogue, one of my best and dearest friends, Mr. Kenneth Fleming of Reigning Capital Management. He was also on our show earlier this series on life after divorce. So please welcome Mr. Kenneth Fleming back to the Dialogue. Welcome, sir. I see you over there taking notes.
Hey, I'm taking notes, but if you associate me with Mr. Tony, I'm in trouble.
Kenny,
want to be connected with him.
You're his mini-me. I thought you knew.
That's a bad thing.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Tony Wayford, president of I Choose Life Health and Wellness Center. So please welcome back. Hi, sir.
Hello.
We talk about sex, you guys, so make sure you do give us a call here today. So let me ask you guys all, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is sexual compatibility in a marriage?
I would say it's a 9.
It's a 9?
Yes.
That's pretty high.
Yes, it is. I would go with 10.
With 10?
Mm-hmm.
10.
Why do you hesitate?
Well, because I think the compatibility. I think what people leave out is sexual honesty.
Okay. What do you mean by that? Elaborate.
Because people are sometimes they're compatible. I mean, you don't take you need to stick it in there to do it. It
Right.
don't take a whole lot to do it.
Okay.
But to be honest about what you like, what you want to try, and those things, I think that's the missing link.
Okay. So
for
Sarah,
the
what
most
did
part.
you define as sexual compatibility?
I agree that you have similar interests
Mm-hmm.
and you are able to share with each other what you really want, but it doesn't come right away. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to communicate.
Okay. All right. Very good. So, do you wish you were a virgin when you got married? Why or why not?
No, I don't.
Why?
Sorry, Mom.
This is a dope
Lord,
show.
the Lord still love you. He still
No,
love you.
it's all good. It's all good.
He invented it.
Um,
Why don't you wish you were a virgin?
I don't have any negative experiences, so
Okay.
sex has always been a positive thing for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't feel like it took away anything. Maybe some of the relationships I had, it's like I guess how important sex is in a boyfriend girlfriend relationship and how you think it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Maybe I wish those things were different, but as far as the actual act,
Okay.
I don't regret it.
When you got married, were you a virgin? Okay. Do you regret that?
No,
Okay.
no. I going back to the definition of that we
Compatibility?
Compatibility.
Uh-huh.
For me, compatibility and what I bring to the table in my marriage. It's all about whether or not we have the same sexual palate.
Mm-hmm.
Do we communicate sex the same way? And I don't know if my being a virgin or not being a virgin would have impacted that.
Okay.
You still need to be able to articulate what it is you need or want or even are willing to try to do with your partner, and that is more important to me
Okay.
than
So is it unrealistic to believe that men can be virgins or they should be virgins when they get married, Kenneth?
Oh yeah, there's some dudes out there.
Do you,
that are
you think that's a
virgins.
good idea? Do you regret having sex before you got married?
Yeah, no, I don't regret, but that's not my. The guys that I know, the few that I know that are virgins, young guys, it's their choice.
Like AC Green. How old was AC Green when he finally started having sex?
40 something. I mean, and he got a fine wife too. So I haven't seen him in a while. I think we're neighbors, but I haven't seen
He
him in a
catching
while.
up.
Yeah, but again, is she happy? Is he happy? Was it all cracked up to what they both intended it to be? That's the individual.
So Tony, why do we want our girls to be virgins?
I have no idea
Why would we raise our daughters to want to be virgins?
Wait, girls, or you talking about?
But I'm saying
daughters?
for men too. I mean, God want men and women to be virgins, don't he?
Wait. Time out. My woman, no. My daughter, yes. Different.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you about that in a minute. Okay, so Tony,
Yeah.
why do fathers want their daughters to be virgins, but they don't want their wives necessarily to?
Oh,
Somebody done told them that shit.
So you wouldn't mind if your daughter wasn't a virgin?
I ain't got one that's a virgin right now.
How
I'm
you know?
praying on what we talk about.
Do you want her to remain a virgin until she gets married?
I don't think too much about that. I think I want to make good choices and good decisions. I
Okay.
don't think the world gonna end or begin with giving away some pussy.
Okay.
That's just me.
Okay.
And I don't think that makes her a bad or a bad person because
Okay.
she in fact does that. You know?
All right, Ken.
To me.
Yeah, and so what I was.
But why do
saying
you want
was-
your daughter to be?
Well, I'll tell you why. First of all, she's 7, so I ain't
Oh,
really even
Lord.
start thinking about it. That's number one. and being honest.
Okay.
Number 2, can you get to college? Go away. There's so many more things that are important, I believe, at the age that she is now and up until.
So would you
18.
wanted to have married a virgin?
Wait, who?
Did you when you got married? Would you have wanted your wife to have been a
hell
virgin?
No, I don't want a virgin. No, not at all. That was the reason why I ended up with a. No, I'm just kidding. But what I'm saying is that even when my daughter becomes 18, okay, that's a different role. Sex is a different role, or hopefully she will look at it in a different light than when she's 17 and younger. I just think kids, because of the day and age, all the things that are out there is just dangerous for them,
Okay.
and they don't understand the responsibility of sex.
Okay.
I think that boys and girls. I was
Yeah,
going to say
both. I
specifically
agree.
girls, but for boys as well, sex can become very distractive.
Mhm.
You start getting your eye off the prize because it feels good. You want to keep doing it. And so you start forgetting other things that are important, and then you also start putting more on the act emotionally
Correct.
than what it really might mean.
Okay.
And so if you're not mature enough to handle the physical
Right.
contact, then I would
Well-
delay it only so that you can mature and handle what the impact it's going to have on your psyche.
Okay, so let's bring in a religion here a little bit because we all, to some degree, were raised in Christian church,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
you were raised to be a virgin.
Absolutely.
And so, if that's what we're supposed to do, raise our daughters to be virgin, how will they know how to not only sexually satisfy herself, but her husband, if we encourage her not to have any experience?
Well, having sex with a man is different from
Jacking off.
self-pleasuring.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, you
Number
need to
one.
know what you like, and that's why you don't need to do it until you know what you like.
Okay.
So you can communicate that.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Tony?
I think if you're talking about from the church perspective and
I mean,
religious,
they just
religion,
you-
there's
from
no
reli-
screwing going on in church anywhere in the
And
world. I never forget when I first joined the church. I ain't gonna front.
Or how about them camps?
I got my
Going away for the week for the
Convocation.
camp.
Convocation.
I don't know what it was called, but we went away on a church camp.
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun.
And,
It was a lot of fun.
but again, that's life, and,
Yeah.
and we're talking about responsibility. That's what I'm talking about, especially
Okay.
because of my background and what I do for my day job. I'm just so nervous when our little young kids have sex. I'm just nervous about it. I mean,
So what would you think is a mature age to start really contemplating having sex?
Well, for me, if you're old enough to serve the country, you're old enough to drink, then I guess you're old enough to.
What age is that? That's 18. That could be 18.
Well, that's
At 18,
what I said. After
you're
school, she going home.
At
college,
18
away. He wants her to be away. But I believe that the thing about it, though, is when you put that pressure, a lot of people are lying about whether or not they're having sex. That's
Okay.
where you have kids lying and
Correct.
getting pregnant. So my thing is, if you're gonna do it, protect yourself. That's
All right.
just the bottom line. It's not about when you do it, but when you do it, make sure you know that, like you said, there are consequences. There are things that come from it. You're gonna get pregnant. There are venereal diseases. So.
Yes, all of that. And a side note for me, I haven't had the conversation yet. My daughter's 7, but when I do have the conversation, I figure somewhere around 12. Hopefully, I won't be too late. I'll say, if you want to date a guy, right? You like a guy. If you ain't man enough to bring him home to me, then he ain't man enough to be with you. You don't need to be with him. Can I at least meet him? I mean,
Okay.
if I can, give my opinion, and you can accept my opinion, then there's nothing I can do about it.
Tony.
I think we need to have honest conversation, because what happens is there's no. I mean, ideally, we want people to be responsible when they start having sex. There's no question about that. But I think it's naive to believe that there's an age when it comes to that. I know some Negroes that's really grown and doing irresponsible,
They
stupid
still
things.
shouldn't be having sex.
I could testify for myself. I mean, but how many of us sitting around this table did something and go, damn, I wish I really hadn't done that. That really wasn't cool. For a myriad of reasons.
Okay.
I just happened to, we went to dinner. I figured I owed him. I took her out. I figured I owed her. I mean, there's a number of things that come to play, and I think we doing the conversation just service if we don't talk about the fact that it has nothing to do with age. It has
Maturity.
in terms of maturity and what's your intent, because when you have sex, it automatically changes the whole dynamic of the
That is
relationship.
true. Absolutely.
And because it's a new thing now, and it's really interesting. I was talking to a cat who only had sex with condoms for a number of reasons. One,
But he's never ever had unprotected
No, he's
sex?
had unprotected sex.
Okay.
But I'm saying, the point, what was really interesting, is that he didn't feel that he had the same responsibility in relationship
I
as
agree.
long as he used a condom. When
I
he
agree.
did use a condom, he felt he had a different level of responsibility,
Absolutely.
because at
Interesting.
that point he had a different level of intimacy.
Correct.
And I'd never thought about it, and because I doing my work in HIV, it was interesting to hear that in terms of his obligation to the relationship predicated on exchanging bodily fluids.
So if a guy takes
Which
the
was
condom
really
off,
deep.
is that supposed to give the woman the impression that he's more emotionally connected to you?
But that's the lie. I think that's the lie. Like because I'm doing this,
Right.
I don't do this with everybody.
Okay.
You know? So,
Right.
But it is true to some degree. And let me tell you what I've learned. And actually, my Sunday school teacher, hate to put him on blast, but we talk about real conversations in our Sunday school class. He talked about one of the reasons why women get so emotional with men when we just have sex with them and leave is because we end up leaving the sperm up in it, and that sperm is just crawling and itching
Right.
all around inside
Crawling and
you
itching.
all up inside of you, right? And
Yeah.
you thinking about it, but when you capture that thing in a hat and you taking it with you, it's a clean. And I've had women that tell me, "Oh, I just love having sex with a condom because I don't have to worry about your stuff all up in me."
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
it makes sense to me.
Caller, hold on. I know we have a caller. I just want to ask our panel one more question before I get to you. So, just in terms of your foundation about sex, what did your parents teach you about sex and marriage specifically? What did you learn from your parents' marriage, or what message did they send you about either the woman's role in sex or just sex, the role of sex in a marriage period?
it wasn't until I got older that my mom and I really talked about their personal
Okay.
life. But as a young person, I could talk to her about what was happening around me.
Mhm.
And I would just kind of feel her out and see what she thought. Well, this girl gave this guy a blowjob, or this guy did this. And I would kind of get her impression, and she never gave it to me like it was dirty.
Okay.
It was just something that people do, or, oh, I wouldn't do that. But, you know, I'm
Okay.
not her. And so I just learned that you can do whatever is comfortable for you. But she wasn't, my mom's wasn't a very, you know.
So did you talk to your dad about sex at all?
No, but he was around for my boyfriends. Like I'm saying, yeah, I was like, yeah, you're right. My first boyfriends, he knew them very, very well,
All right.
and that is important. And you don't listen anyway, but they still give you their opinion.
Correct.
And then
Now-
later on, okay, it's right.
Now you got married at 18. Did you have a conversation about sex prior to getting married, or did you learn all that from your husband?
No, my mother and I had a very open dialogue
Okay.
about sex, and as I do with my children.
Mhm.
It wasn't something that was taboo. It wasn't something that was scary. It was this is how your body works. This is why it feels good. This is how you make it feel better. It
Okay.
was just one of those open door policies, anything that you want to know based, of course, on their level of maturity. I mean, my children, I remember, well, okay, let me know. I was told to not put their business in the street. Let's just say that one of my children, who shall remain nameless, used to have this thing that they would suck their thumb and masturbate at the same time.
Okay.
And I remember one of the other kids
Hope you
saying,
have more than one boy.
I didn't say it was a boy.
No, it could be a girl.
But I'm just saying that was, and I remember saying specifically, you know, that's yours. You get to do with it whatever you want to, but those are things that you do in private.
Okay.
And those are things that everybody else doesn't have to witness
Right,
you doing.
please.
And I think I carried that same, you know, it's your body, you can do what you want to with it kind of approach to sexuality throughout their whole lives.
Tony, who taught you about sex?
The barbershop.
The barbershop? You
Yes.
didn't talk to your dad about sex at all?
Brothers in the basement, in the streets, in the locker room.
Well, what did they teach you?
Insane shit.
Like what?
Because they were all lying.
Okay.
Because we were lying. Like Sis said, she made an excellent point. I walked around with a condom for 2 years before I ever got my first piece of pussy. Because you had to pretend that you was doing it, even though you wasn't doing it.
What age was this?
What?
That you were walking around pretending?
Oh, for probably 12, 13.
12, 13?
Yeah.
They expected you to be engaged at that.
Yeah, well, I was jacking off at 12 and 13. I mean, that wasn't most people. I mean, if we're just going to be honest. I mean, that's your interest.
Wait, Ken.
I wasn't that young.
You wasn't jacking off.
Nope. I didn't start until maybe 19, 20.
You started jacking off at 19? I was getting pussy at 19.
So, being honest with you.
Wow.
So, but you know what's so interesting? Because my first time that I got off was humping a girl in my Guess jeans in the 10th grade.
At 19?
No,
you were 19?
Now,
I was a late starter.
is that what you was doing at uni?
Yeah. And so
Lord,
That's why you was getting them D's.
That's absolutely. But once I started.
Yeah.
So yeah, at 16 I was humping, and when I ejaculated, I didn't know what it was. I was shaking, and she looking at me, I'm looking at her. You know, my hands is wet. I'm being honest with you. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Ken.
I was a late starter.
You mean to tell? No, wait. Now let me tell you
I'm
something.
honest with you.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But my point is this. Here's what's happening. And this what a lot of cats don't want to admit
Go ahead.
that they jacked off.
At 19.
What happens is, even when you're young, and y'all, if I'm wrong, anybody just jump in and rescue me. When you're young, you kind of move a certain way. You want, oh shit, what was that? And you know where it came from, right? Now you can't really process it because you're a little kid, right? Until you start funneling and all that. You never moved a certain way, and your ass went, ooh, that felt pretty good.
Never.
Before you were 19.
No, before 16.
Before you were 16, you
Before
never.
16,
What, your
I
ass
never.
was in a cast or something? I mean, you had.
It just didn't hit me.
Wait,
It
Ken.
didn't hit me. What?
You didn't have the wet dream? No, but when the boys had the wet
You know what?
dream?
I don't even remember the
probably-
wet dream, but I do remember humping old
On
girl,
that
in
girl.
their car.
Right.
And I got to shaking like a jackrabbit. I didn't know what it was. I'm being honest.
Seriously.
16.
16.
Steve, do we still have a caller?
Lord,
Caller, I'm sorry, we lost our caller.
one of you done blow them jeans up. All that come back up in you.
I did blow it up.
That is
That's what I'm
hilarious.
saying. I did blow it up.
So do you guys remember your first
I
time?
did.
But sexually?
Do you guys remember your first time? Was it
My first sexual experience with another person?
Mhm.
Yes.
You do?
How old were you?
Yours?
How old were you when you first jacked off?
What?
I'm not telling you that.
Just around
No,
about.
I'm just kidding. No, I was young. I was young.
You were very
Yeah, I
young.
was
Kirk.
very
Is that
young.
fair to say?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. I just was hoping it wasn't just me.
Yeah. No, I mean, and
Now
like
we
she
know.
said, I mean, as children, they do, but maybe he just wasn't aware. And like I have an older sister. Sorry, older sister.
He knew the
So
play.
she had boyfriends, and so you're more aware. Whereas
we
my
didn't get
daughter
into
doesn't
sex
have
until-
older sisters, so
Okay.
I think you just don't see as much when you don't have someone right in
No,
front of
but
you.
it's not a sight as
No,
much
no,
as
I'm
it's a
talking
feel.
about even to know
Right.
what it
What to
is
do
and what you're
and what
supposed
to
to
do
do
with
when
it.
it feels like that.
So
Correct.
tell me this. So tell me
Really?
now that you know
I'm
about
learning something.
now that you know about sex and you've experienced it, what do you wish you would have learned earlier about sex?
He gonna say jack off.
Yeah, I wish I would have never got that habit. I'm being honest.
What,
You
what do
wish
you
you
what do you
would've
wish you would
Yeah, I
have?
wish I would have never got that habit.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, so it's cheaper than a date.
You
I
save a lot of money.
You're absolutely right. Some call, hey, baby, let's go out.
Like,
No.
no.
So what do you wish? What do you wish you were taught?
I think that for me, like you were saying, I wish that I knew that just because you had sex, it wasn't love.
Okay.
And that because someone loved you, I didn't have it because someone told me they loved me. But I just think that the whole thing of you thinking you're in love because you're having sex.
Okay. All right.
I wish that I had figured out earlier in the game. If I were to tell the older me, had a conversation with the younger me, I would have let me off the hook about my enjoyment of it.
Okay.
I was raised in the Catholic Church, and there was a lot of guilt associated with it, and so I always felt like it had to be in the confines of a particular kind of a relationship, and it had to look, and that wasn't really where my head was, and so I carried some guilt, and I labeled myself, and I allowed myself to be labeled, and I didn't take ownership of my sexuality until I was older.
And that was because of religious dogma?
Yeah,
Okay.
and a lot of social dogma that I think was wrapped around religion. The religion tells young girls that regardless, that guys can go out there and do whatever, but if you're a female who have those kind of feelings, then something's wrong with you, and you're labeled all kind of things that are not nice.
Okay. Did you guys ever feel guilty, Ken, about having sex before marriage? Any religious guilt? Because Ken, you were raised in the church.
Absolutely. No, never, ever,
Okay.
ever, never.
Never ever.
No. And I think my panelist here said that she may have regretted having sex with some of the people. But other than that,
So is there anything that you wish you would have learned earlier that you know now?
jacking off.
Okay.
I think it's a serious habit for a lot of people. And it can hurt relationships from
Okay.
the perspective that you're doing it yourself. You're satisfying yourself. So when you begin to satisfy yourself because you don't want to put the effort in to satisfy someone else, or to have the conversation about telling them how to be satisfied or how you want to be satisfied, you get right to it and
Okay.
move on.
Before we go to commercial, what do you wish you would have learned earlier?
The responsibility.
In what respect?
Then I think I would have enjoyed it more.
In what respect? The emotional responsibility?
That's a serious commitment, and that and I ain't trying to get real deep about the whole thing, but I think had I known the responsibility that comes with it, I probably would have been a little more selective.
Okay.
And I probably would have done it less, and certainly would have left less damaged folk in my history.
Okay. Elaborate on less damaged folk.
Well, I think because if you're just totally thinking with your crotch, you don't necessarily see a whole person. You see a pulsating genital, and you're ready to do something about it.
Lip, dips,
and
hips.
if you have any, because I'm sure I'm not the only one. When you get through, as soon as you ejaculate, and as soon as you get through, then you have this moment of consciousness where you kind of feel awkward or bad or regret or whatever. I really didn't like this person that much. And if you have, an ounce of humanity, you kind of feel bad because you did damage to the person and you did damage to yourself. So I think if someone had told me this is a responsibility and you just can't dump everywhere where there's an opening. And no, I'm serious.
But that's true. But that's true for men. I mean, did you guys feel the same way? I mean,
Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying.
All right, same for you. Just the
No.
responsibility, the emotional
No, I
responsibility.
understood. I understood, and I'm saying we have to play a role. You couldn't dump unless we let you.
Oh, I agree.
So
but
that's what I'm saying. So I wasn't the dump.
No, but I'm saying, but my
Unless
I'm only saying that if my intentions weren't right.
Yeah, I hear you.
Know what
I hear what you're saying.
That, for me,
totally.
that wouldn't be cool
Totally.
if my intentions weren't right.
All right. Well, we're talking about marriage and sex. Caller, I'm sorry we lost you, but please feel free to give us a call back. 323-473-473-3100. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about marriage and sex right here on The Dialogue. Give us a call.
Hi, this is Barbara Perkins, inviting you to join us every Sunday afternoon at 2:40 for Sisters at the Well Radio, a conversation with women about women. Join us as we share stories about current events, jazz events, business opportunities, health and wellness, entertainment, and so much more. So don't forget to tune in Sundays at 2:40, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hello world, how you living? This is D. Brex, your host of the all-new rap project here on LA Talk Live. That's latalklive.com, or you can find me on iTunes Radio in the R&B section. That's the rap project every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. West Coast time, so don't be late. On the Rap Project, I will be playing the very best of rap and hip-hop that goes beyond the ordinary. So connect with me, your host, D. Brax, the rap connoisseur, on the Rap Project every Wednesday at 7, right here on latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk.
Welcome back to the dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. We talking about doing the nasty here on the show today. Marriage and sex. This is a community conversation. So please give us a call, 323-473-3100, 323-473-3100. We want to hear from you on marriage and sex. What y'all doing in y'all bed? We want to know here on Dialogue. Give us a call, 323-473-3100. Today we have Sarah Aiken, Renee Chapman, Kenneth Fleming, and Tony Wayford all talking about marriage and sex. So before the commercial break, I was going to ask you guys if you guys thought that monogamy was realistic. Is monogamy realistic, especially in a marriage? Is it realistic to believe that someone can... Why your eyes do that?
No, right.
Is it realistic to believe that your spouse can be monogamous?
If they choose to, yes, it is realistic.
So it is a choice, okay.
Yes.
On both ends?
Both ends.
Okay.
But I don't think it's necessary as much as I did before.
You don't think what's monogamy?
Monogamy.
Why? That's interesting.
Because we're getting married, to have sex. Mm-hmm. But people are having sex anyway.
Okay.
So it's kind of like we're psyching ourselves out to think that this is going to make me be with one person. Mm-hmm. And I just think that if it's not for you, it's not for you. Okay. And don't try to make it happen.
Okay. All right. Is it realistic for women to believe?
I believe it's realistic. I believe it's a choice that you make every day. You choose not to deal with anybody else.
Okay.
Do I think other people are attractive to other people? Of course. Okay. But you make a choice not to.
Okay. So Tony, is it a hard choice to be monogamous?
Well, I'm looking at it a little different. I think honesty is what's important, because you'd be surprised if people are honest in relationships. It's a rare person. I think you hit the nail on the head. You see people that look good every day. I think that what causes the lack of monogamy is the lack of honesty. Because if in fact, say for instance, and guys, they lie to themselves. Say for instance, a guy want to be with two women. Okay. Well, there's nobody in the world better that you should share that information with other than your woman or your wife. Right. Now, she may or may not go along with it. There's a lot of stuff that we think of, both male and female, that it may not be, that your partner may or may not want to do.
Okay.
But the biggest hurdle that we jump over is being able to talk about it.
Okay.
Because she may say, well, look, player, I ain't about to have no other woman up in here, but we can do some other stuff. You may want to watch some freak videos or something like that. I think, but you got to be honest about it. That's why I was saying the key to it is honesty and being open in terms of what you like.
Okay.
And sister hit it on it too. And that's also a process. You don't just tell everybody initially, like, you go on your first date, you don't want to hear the woman, her daddy is homeless, and mama pushing the car, daddy, son, and brother in prison. And this is too much. For some bills. This is too much for the first date. You know what I mean? Second, third, I want to go to the movie. I'm at a counseling session. So I think once you build up to it, and I think you have to be honest. And what happens is we don't judge each other. By that I mean, you can't think of your woman comes to you and say, I was thinking. One fantasy I always had was to have two men. Well, that don't mean she's a hoe. You know what I mean? Oh, she's a bad person. She done it or what? But if you're honest with yourself and who you are, what you like, honest with your woman, because most of the stuff most of the stuff you think about, she done thought about too, unless you just want to drop hot wax on you, read poetry, eat pound cake.
Oh Lord!
You know what I mean? That's some way out stuff.
Again.
I'm kind of old.
So, are you obligated to stay with your spouse if you're not sexually attracted?
It said physically attracted.
Sexually attracted to each other anymore.
Yeah, but you know what?
But you stayed in a marriage where you didn't have sex for a very long time.
Wait a minute, time out. Don't you mix?
I'm mixing apples and oranges.
Yeah, you mixing.
Okay, take me back.
I did 3.5 years. I said I was devoted, no cheating, no nothing. Once I realized the marriage was over with, we weren't having sex. Her and I weren't having sex. But it's the process of going through a divorce.
Okay.
So that's what that was about. Not necessarily that we were just sitting there, sucking our thumbs and not paying attention, and not. We just wasn't attracted to each other.
All right.
But back to your point in regards, should you be obligated? I say no. If you don't have an not necessarily a physical attraction. And I know that's one of your other questions, but I think sex is important for the relationship. I won't say it's 50, I won't say 40, I won't even say 10. Whatever it is, it's important. And when a component is missing, it's like trying to drive a car without one tire.
Okay, Sarah, I see you shaking your head.
No, I totally agree. I know a lot of couples are together and they're not having sex, and I just don't get it.
Okay.
Like,
well, what do they tell you? Why are they not having sex?
It's probably because they need to be honest about some things and they haven't talked, and so it just builds and builds and builds. And like when you're having a bad day, like as a married woman, you have a bad day, your kids, you just have a lot, you physically don't even feel like it.
Okay.
But if that happens over and over and over and over, and you just become resentful, or the guy is resentful, or he feels like maybe doesn't feel like he should be who he is, and so you pull apart instead of coming together, and then what do you have? Or maybe they never wanted to be married in the first place.
Okay.
I think that being sexually attracted to someone and being physically attracted to someone is a different head trip. For me, being sexually attracted to someone starts in my head. The way you talk to me, the way you look at me, the way you get what I'm saying, the way you pay attention to what I'm saying, the way you come and sneak up behind me when I'm washing the dishes. I mean, all of those things create a sexual atmosphere for me that don't necessarily, which spark a physical attraction.
Okay.
On your survey, it says, did you marry the best sex
I haven't
partner?
got to that yet.
Oh, well, it's talking about this. That's why I put it about the attraction.
Okay.
Right?
I like you studying. I like you studying ahead, though.
I do my homework now.
I
do it in school.
Let me get to that. So we have some sex secrets. The survey reveals what we really want in bed. This is an article that was on Huffington Post this past June, and they report on some results from iVillage's 2013 marriage survey, sex survey. So the first one that Steve, if you would put up, is cheating. It says men admit to cheating more than women, 28% versus 13%, and are more likely than women to say that they've had an affair if there was 0% chance that they'd get caught, 32% versus 13%. At the same time, 34% of men say they've checked their wives' phone for evidence of cheating, compared to 20% of women. So let's talk about infidelity. So what does infidelity mean in a relationship? Kim, I'm start with you. What does infidelity mean in a relationship, and is it grounds for divorce?
Let me answer the second question. Okay. It's on. I don't think it's grounds for divorce if that's the expectation that you have in your marriage.
Okay.
The first question, I say, is anything you can't tell the person that you're with. I think that's infidelity.
Okay.
So if you're looking at a beautiful woman today and you went home and masturbate off her, and you can't tell your wife that you saw somebody that's more attractive, then in my opinion, it's infidelity.
What about you, Tony?
I agree. I think infidelity is when you stop being honest and talking about what it is that who you are, what you like, and what you saw and things like that. That's when it begins. This is long before you make penetration.
Okay.
It just builds up to that point.
Okay. So if you stay together after an affair, if you decide to stay together, how do you rebuild trust again? Especially from the woman's perspective, if the man cheated. And as the survey said, the majority of men admit to cheating more. So how does a woman come back from that? How do you rebuild trust in a relationship?
I really think that I can just speak from personally. We've been friends. We were friends first.
Okay.
So I think no matter what happens when you have a relationship where it's really a connection, you can always go back to that place where you can, you on your side of the ring, I'm on mine.
Okay.
Let's start again, have conversations, and you build and you make sure that the other person wants to be where they are.
So
that's my thing.
So would you say it's grounds for divorce?
No, I mean it's
There's
so many people have gone through that it's and you will find that most people don't leave. It's in my experience.
Okay, not because it's cheaper to keep her.
It's cheaper to get rid of her.
Is it?
Absolutely.
I thought it was cheaper to keep her.
No, cheaper to get rid of her.
Oh,
it's better.
But if it's about the money, you don't need to ask no way.
No,
absolutely.
No,
but I'm saying you're in a relationship.
Right.
But I think that's where we screw up. And again, I'm gonna come out with something different.
Yeah.
I think I trust you with my heart.
Absolutely.
My heart is more important to me than my money. I can make some more damn money.
Okay.
It's just like, and I think we word things wrong. Just like even, I know you said it in jest, we talking about the nasty. Well, that gives it a negative spin from Jump Street.
Okay.
It's not nasty. If we're going to teach and educate folks, especially our children, we don't tell, you tell your baby, that's not nasty, don't touch your tutu twat. Come on.
No.
This is your pussy, and if you, dick or whatever.
What?
Vagina.
Vagina, maybe? Vagina?
Well, I'm just saying,
His kids are grown.
kids don't call it that. You know what I mean?
Why don't we call it vagina and penis?
But I'm just saying, the point I'm making is that I think we put too much. I mean, if you love each other and you people are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
To say that you're not going to make a mistake is bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what happens is that then you have to, if in fact you decide to stay, because sometimes you have too much interest because you decide to do something stupid. And everybody does something stupid on some level, on both sides. And when you weigh it up, is it really worth it? And I think the difficult part and challenge that we face is how do we in fact rebuild the relationship. And I think it's naive to believe that you don't tore down all these bricks and all of a sudden you got to put in some new bricks. And when you put in new bricks, it damn sure is obvious on the wall that these are new bricks.
Okay.
And you have to work on that.
Okay.
But to say that is irreparable, I think that's not true.
Okay. So how do you handle sexual rejection in a marriage?
Jack off.
When you don't want to do what if it's like for a long period of time?
Yeah,
like we had
but see,
Tim
that's-
here
but-
who
but
only
my-
had
Yeah, Tim was interesting, wasn't he? I love Tim. Tim saw him Saturday. And I'm just saying, that lets you know it takes all kind of people
Yeah, to make
around
the
to make
world
the
go
work.
round.
Exactly. But for me, I got a rule, and anybody who knows me and been in any type of relationship with me, after 5 days, I'm cheating.
Ooh.
what?
After a week, I'm cheating.
But
Why?
at least if you let it be
Because-
known, I think
they
that's
won.
different.
They
I think
won.
it's different if you
They
let it be
won.
known.
They won. I say that because you're not going to hold something over me.
Okay.
It's just not going to happen. I don't hold anything over you, so don't hold anything over me.
Is that intentional? Like, it's day 5. Let me find somebody to cheat with.
No.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm just
Almost clock is ticking.
Does she get a warning?
So,
Or-
ladies, how do you handle sexual rejection? I mean, you talked about as you've gotten older, you want to do it more, and your husband just like, girl, please. So, how do you handle rejection?
It's like I said last week. I have to understand that we have more of a connection, where it's not just physical attraction. There's an intimacy there, and there's more to the relationship than the sex. So I don't take his being tired as a rejection of me.
But you're talking about one time though. You're talking about 1 day, 2 days.
Yeah.
Sick. Got
You're
the
talking about
flu.
years,
We
aren't
ain't
you?
talking about no.
What if it's for an
talking
extended
about?
period? What if it is for an extended period?
I don't do it.
It ain't going down.
But I
I
think,
don't do
but
extended
I think it's deeper.
I don't do it.
I think it's deeper than that, especially if
Yeah.
you've been in a long-term relationship.
Okay.
If you've been in a relationship, you're married or whatever for a long time, sometimes sexual rejection on either side can be complicated. As men, I'm 57 years old, right? I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm
know
as good
that.
once as I ever was.
There you go. That's it.
You know what I mean? And the
I
reality,
understand that.
and the reality of it is, sometimes when you get older, it get heavy. It don't get really hard.
Exactly.
And
don't go as long.
And
But we got that.
there are a number of things that happen. No different than I think one of your sisters was saying. There's a lot of stuff you got on your plate in your head with the kids and work and things like that, and you're just not there. So it's not necessarily rejection of you. It's some possible, again, goes back to conversation. Possibly it's some other things that are going on in the relationship,
Okay, well,
which
hold on,
actually
Ken.
which actually is making the person say, well, I'm not really feeling it today.
Okay.
You
Well,
know
let's
what I
go.
mean?
Well, that's a good transition talking about kids. Steve, if you go to meme number 2, it says babies, excuse me, may be a blessing, but they might not help your sex life. 52% of women and 49% of men say they had better sex before they have kids. Was that true for you?
Not better, no.
How was it before and after? Was there a difference?
It's I made her sleep in her crib, and
Mhm.
it's
I mean,
like,
but men say that.
I mean but that probably does happen. It's because it's the emotional. Like I'm saying, if you're not in touch, women are not taught to be sexual. I think that's what you were alluding to. So we're not supposed to want it, and so you're not raised in that way.
Mhm.
But when you know, no, we're sexual beings as well. I want it. I don't want to go without it. And you just are already in that mode when you have a child. It doesn't.
But I've
change
heard so
anything.
many instances about men cheating on their pregnant wives or pregnant girlfriends
just a
and
horny
not,
dude.
not
That's
touching
just
their
a horny
wives.
But that
dude.
doesn't have anything
And
to
she-
do with
yeah.
having a kid.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's how he
yeah.
feels about her in the first place.
What about
That's what I'm-
afterwards? You talked about she being tired and the kids coming and all
but
that
I
type
think
of stuff.
I
Get a
don't
housekeeper.
think
Oh,
it.
Lord.
I don't
Okay.
think it gets.
No, that's true. That's what I did. I'm sorry.
I
Go
don't.
ahead.
I don't think it. I don't think it is bad or worse. I think what happens is a lot of times with men, and I'll humbly submit, and I don't mean all of them or everybody,
Mhm.
but sometimes we become selfish and we realize the sister has a different responsibility now, and she's got to zero in, especially for the first child. She's got to zero in and hone on her skills because there's no, it's like swimming. You can talk about parenting, but soon. You got to do it. You can read all the books in the world about swimming, but if your ass got to get in the water and stroke at some point. When you have kids, it's a different level of responsibility, and you're trying to hone your skills as a mother and a parent. And your head is not necessarily there as it was before you had this other person in the house. And I think those are the conversations we've got to have with each other. And it's not a rejection of you. She's in a different place
Okay.
right now.
All right,
And you're in a
Ken.
different position too as the man. I mean, I know some cats that work long hours in their companies. So when they come home, because they provide an outstanding life for their wife, she don't do nothing but work out all day.
Okay.
And when she come home, she
She
ready.
ready. Yeah.
Okay.
And he
That's
like,
different.
shit, I just lost some money today.
Okay,
I'm
all
not
right.
into that.
So let's talk about communication and the importance of communication and sex. What are we discussing? We discussing what we like, what we don't like. I mean, what are we discussing when we're having an open, honest communication about sex in our marriage?
I think that's like you were saying, as far as just being honest, just whatever it is,
Okay.
just honesty, just what I like, what I don't like, why, and being willing to I think it's just like fear of rejection. That's why people don't tell.
So do
what
you
they wanna
evolve
do.
to that place, or are you already at that place before you marry your
Well,
your
hopefully we're
significant-
now, grooming our children so that they know that it's okay to talk about it.
Okay.
Like it has to be a conversation.
Okay.
I think you have to first and foremost. I think you have to, when in a relationship, you have to build a relationship where your woman or your wife is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
If she's your friend, then you can do a whole lot of things because you tell your friend anything.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep secrets from your wife and or your woman or your husband and your man.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you create a foundation of friendship and work really, really, really hard on friendship, because that's what's going to take you through during the difficult times.
Okay.
Where you can be, again, you can tell your friend, you know what, honey, I thought about this, but let's go to the titty bar together, you and me.
Okay.
And you pick the broads and blah 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 blah.
I can tell you did that already.
Huh?
No,
I haven't.
You didn't invite your wife to the titty bar?
To be honest, I never did that. I never.
Not
did
even with
that.
your first wife?
Never did.
You just went to the titty bar and left her at home.
I never really went to titty bar.
Okay.
Really.
He didn't
No, I'm just saying.
He don't
because
like to be teased.
I know folks that. Yeah, I ain't in the spectator sport. If I put some money down, we fucking. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Okay, so Ken, let me ask you.
$20 to $100.
Yeah, we doing something.
So Ken, let me ask you. So what does it mean for the marriage bed to be undefiled?
Well, you know what? That's interesting because right after the undefiled, the next page or later on in this conversation, we talk about swinging.
Right.
Well, I do believe that. I believe
You
that's
believe
a
in
place-
swinging?
No.
Oh, the marriage bed is undefiled. What does that
Exactly.
mean?
Well, I just mean it means just that you can do whatever you want.
You can bring another person into your
If
bedroom.
that's what you choose to do.
You're
in
not
your
going to hell.
marriage.
It's not adultery. It's not. You're not cheating.
If it's between you two,
Do
there
whatever you
is
wanna do.
no issue. In my opinion, now I ain't read all the way through the Bible, but it ain't no opinion. Hey, look here. It may be your wife may think you're cheating on her by eating cupcakes at 11 o'clock at night. But if she's okay with you eating cupcakes, then there's no problem between
Okay.
you two.
All right. What does it mean for the marriage bed to be undefiled to you?
For me, it would just mean that we've agreed how we want to be in this.
Okay.
And
With
that's
each other.
constantly with each other, and that's constantly evolving and changing. There are no rules. We make the rules.
Right.
And if there's something that needs to change in those rules, then we need to have a conversation about it. Anything outside of that would be wrong.
Okay. So, Sarah, talk about being bored in a marriage, especially sexually. So how do you keep the passion going? I mean, men always talk about the variety that they like. So how do you become these different women throughout the course of your
think
marriage?
Just knowing what you like and what you want, and just, I don't know. I mean, it's just being sexually boring. That doesn't go together for me. So I can't really speak to that.
Okay.
Maybe in other areas of a marriage, it gets, could get a little boring and, monotonous. But as far as sex is concerned, if you guys are pleasing each other, it's like, how can that be boring?
Can sex be boring in a marriage?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think sex has to evolve in a marriage.
Okay.
Because what you could do 10 years ago,
Right.
you can't do 10 years later. But you damn sure can't do it as long or as much.
Speak for
But
yourself.
but so,
Speak for yourself.
so you may have to look for the heels from which your help coming.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You might get some help in there.
Can't start quoting Bible
All right,
verses.
But back to what you said, I want to add something into you said about the bedroom being defiled.
Okay.
I think what's really important is that folk can do everything and all things that they want to, in fact, do. But I think the key is that we have to be honest with each other and be mature enough, if you do it, that you don't look at each other differently as a result of
Okay.
doing it.
That's
Okay.
it.
You know
All
what
right.
I mean? I think that's the key.
That's fair. Okay. The next meme, porn. Do you watch porn? Do you like porn?
I watch it.
Do you watch porn? Do you like porn?
I seen it yesterday.
I got it on my phone. You want to see some pictures? You know what I mean? I got some filth on
Okay, so
this
Steve,
phone.
put up the stats about porn. So the survey by iVillage says, although 42% of women said that their spouse never watches online porn, only 21% of men agreed. 63% of women said that they have never watched porn. Does that sound unrealistic?
Yeah, that's lying.
People I know, it sounds
Yeah.
unrealistic. So.
Well, they
I don't
figured
know.
because they didn't get to the part where it says
What-
the
so what-
end. You
so
know what
yeah,
I mean?
maybe
So how,
that's it.
so how do you use porn in a marriage? You say, hey, baby, let's try that. I mean, I used to have a girlfriend who used to have her husband watch lesbian so that he would know how to correctly eat her out, or to have oral sex, excuse me.
Yeah.
So how
You
do
were right the first
how
time.
to perform oral sex. So, but how do you use porn in a marriage?
I think like for men, well, it's more of a stimulant. Like
Okay.
that gets it going, and
Does it get you
in
going?
a minute. It depends on what it is.
Okay.
It depends on what it is, and all that. But it really doesn't. It's not like a tool. Like, honey, let's do that. But
Okay.
maybe I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that in my head. I'm gonna do that.
So do you like white porn or black porn?
Oh, we watch black people.
Dusty crusty.
No, they got some good ones now. They got some good ones now.
Have you ever used porn in your marriage?
I like porn. My husband doesn't.
Why?
He doesn't. He feels like I'm the most beautiful thing in the world, and he doesn't want to look at anybody else.
Go ahead on, sis.
At least that's what he's telling me.
Yeah, that's good enough. Shit.
That's all that matters.
But I'm very open about the fact that I like it.
Okay.
and-
So
and
what do you like black porn or white porn or any type of porn?
Any type is fine with me.
Okay. All right.
I don't like that. I don't like where people. I'm kind of a romantic, so I kind of like the whole love story.
So you need a storyline.
I need a storyline.
The plumber.
All right, you guys. How do you guys use porn?
I ain't married, so I don't have to ask this question.
You were married. Did you ever use porn in your marriage?
No, not with.
Okay. So it's obviously a stimulant. Do you ever use it as a tool? Like, let's try that, or even now when you use it, or
I'm
you
not
just get some
married.
tips. But you still having sex,
Yeah.
Tony.
doesn't
quiet
give
on
you-
that.
Why you got to Tony? Why do you got to have it on your phone? You watch it in the middle of the night.
Because
You watch
I might get lonely. I don't know. Hell. Yeah, I think it's cool. I don't think anybody looks at it for lessons or
Okay.
anything like that. I think sometimes if you're at the pad and there's just you two there and you have a little cocktail, you got some music. Because more often than not, you don't really not even listen to the dialogue.
Okay.
I mean, and you're using it. You just look at this, honey. Look at that. Whoa, 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 whoa. And it's just it's more of a conversation because it's a rare person got to the end in the credits.
Right.
You
We
know?
don't talk. We don't have no
You
conversation.
watch that shit for about 5 minutes and it's on. You know what I'm saying?
That's about it.
Okay, so Steve, let's let's go to the wish list. And while I'm doing that, Sarah, I want you to pull out some of your toys because we're going to talk about using toys and tools in a marriage. But before, let's talk about the men's wish list.
Tools to the trade.
It says the most popular desire on a men's sex wish list was that their partner would initiate sex more often, which is 42%. More oral sex was next at 41%, followed by anal sex at 30%. So
I find it really interesting.
Yeah,
Why?
that's interesting.
And because
to me,
it's
too.
like what I was saying last time, I've always been sexually aggressive. I'm still sexually aggressive, and I would kind of put that to the men that has. My husband and I have gotten older. You kind of, and I take into consideration that he works long.
you know what's
hours,
interesting?
he's
I wonder if
tired.
this is culturally based.
Yeah, I don't think
Oh,
it's
you Huffington Post. What you think?
But do you guys experience black women being more aggressive or initiating bed more?
Well, it depends. Dating, they do.
Okay.
Relationship, it's a little different. But, again, you have to remember, when you hook up in your dating, you're hooking up, you know what you're going to get the happy ending.
Okay.
However, when you're in a relationship, I'm going to get it, even if I have to pay for it. But in a relationship, life takes over. So
Okay.
you're not going to get the everyday. Every day we can't sit up and have
So
a
do you
cocktail
prefer that she initiate?
As long as I get the happy ending, I don't.
I think it's important that women initiate because it's not just screwing. I mean, it's nice to know that you want me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do I always have to be the one to be the aggressor? I think it's probably one of the most incredible things in the world that you could come home and even if you ain't necessarily having sex, but see your woman in something sexy, playing some music, got some candles going, got a drink for you, or you walk in the house, she's sitting on the sofa masturbating or something. This is exciting stuff, man. I mean, why you got to always be the one with the club hitting in the head, dragging in the room?
But
What's this all about?
But is that on your wish list?
Okay, so let's talk about the women's wish list.
Is that on my wish list?
What's on your wish list?
I wish that it could happen again and again and again. That's what I'm wishing.
Okay, let's go to the women's wish list. It says what women do, what women want more in bed. What do women want more in bed? Sorry, foreplay, 35%. To hear more loving things, 32%. For their husband to last longer, 28%. And for oral sex, 22%. Does it sound correct to you, ladies?
Yeah.
In terms, it does.
More anal sex, 22%.
Well.
No, don't say well. You said it's correct.
Okay.
I'm about to go home and try something.
Don't get the moonwalk in now.
It said oral sex.
No, it said anal.
And anal.
Oh, and anal.
All right. Well,
a lot of women are. That's like.
Wait, I can't read.
I'm not going to put down any.
No, the men's wish was anal sex.
Oh, anal. Okay.
The men.
It says.
Do you guys want anal sex?
No.
You don't want anal sex?
No.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think
I want some eyeballs, no nostrils.
The women who want it, it's more the men want it. I mean, men who you're introduced to it.
Okay.
More from a man. It's not something you're like, come on, I want to have anal sex. But if your guy doesn't want to do it.
So would you say, which is more emotional? So would you say foreplay and hear more loving things, or what you want to hear more in bed?
Most of the things I'm hearing is the foreplay.
Okay.
I just had someone say, oh, the last 2 times we did it was painful. And I was like, what do you mean it was painful? Were you lubricated or did you? No, maybe not. And it's like, what do you mean maybe? So we have to be.
All right, so let's talk about some of your toys, specifically black women and oral sex. So what have you learned about black women and oral sex? Do they not like
a lot of the
blowjobs?
The home parties that I've done, it's just a big discussion because a lot of women don't like to have it.
They don't like to do it. You guys experience that a lot of women don't like having oral sex or performing oral sex?
But they don't like to receive it, or
they don't like to give it or receive it.
Give it.
They don't like to give it. Is that your experience?
Most of them can't give it, but I shouldn't say that. That was wrong. Let me tell you.
No, really. But how are they supposed to learn?
No. I'm gonna retract that statement because I said most of them, and it's actually the other way around. So since she said giving it, I think it's just if they into the guy. It's a sensual thing.
Okay, so how do you learn?
Maybe you put a little BJ blast on the penis and make it more fun because
so
it's more about the taste. I don't know, like Pop Rocks. It's like Pop Rocks.
It's like Pop Rocks. Okay, she gave me a bag of goodies. So this is BJ Blast, oral sex candy. This is like a Pop Rock. Did you die?
You can do it on the men.
Does it stick?
If you put it in the soda, remember?
Okay.
You put the soda in.
How does it?
Okay.
How does it stay on?
So how do you dip their penis in this? I mean, what do you do?
You just figure. Well, if you
figure it out,
you wet the penis
and then dip.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. That's the fun part.
Okay, so
like
this
those
is
sticks with the powder that you used to do.
the pixie stick. I mean I remember
stick?
Yeah.
Okay,
this is the thing that's the most.
This is the most popular
is the bullet. I mean,
ladies, we all know about this damn bullet. Yeah. A man can't move this fast.
She said, "Man can't move that fast."
But I'm so sorry.
But it's not even for me about comparing.
I know every woman know, huh?
It's not even about comparing though, because you can use it with your mate as well while you're having.
So you
intercourse.
said this is the bullet is the most popular of your toys. Why do you think it's the most popular for men and women?
Because a lot of women prefer clitoral stimulation to penetration.
Okay.
A lot, but I'm not saying all. And you don't have to have penetration to have orgasm.
Do you guys use toys in your?
I haven't got that board yet, personally.
You haven't gotten that board, Tony?
I got Toys R Us in my house, illuminated over the wall when you come in.
I just turn on some music. You know what I mean? I'm still a sexy guy, you know.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let me ask the sisters this. How do you introduce something to the brother when you want something new and or different? How do you?
Very good question.
How you do that?
You're aggressive. She aggressive.
She'd be like,
I usually just kind of, look what I bought today.
Let's try this. That's it.
You know?
And who's going to say no? Who would say no to that? Nobody.
Let's read the directions.
So from your experience, and I'm pointing this little dildo.
As a pointer.
So from your experience, I mean, back to women and oral sex, you saying that most of them
a lot of women
rather receive than give?
No, they would love. I've even had people they love receiving, but they don't like giving it. And I feel like that's selfish.
Okay,
that's just my opinion.
All right. So do you guys like giving?
Both.
You like giving oral sex?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
That's the fun part to get it started. I mean, for me, I got control issues, so I like to see you lose control. That's me personally.
All right.
You know, I like to see you get push my head away. Stop! Don't do it! Don't touch me! Come on, and I'm sitting. What's wrong? Did I do something right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Tony, you like it?
I won't stick my head up in there and look around.
You know, spread my ears. My ears come out red.
So what do black women say from your conversation? What do they say about anal sex? Do they get a lot of requests for it? Do they prepare for it?
They're getting a lot of requests.
Okay.
And they are honoring the requests. And they're really enjoying it.
Okay.
They're really enjoying it.
So do some women have some insecurities as to why their men are asking for sex? Like, black women, we have this thing about men on the down low.
But
do they have some insecurity about their husband or mate now wanting to perform anal sex on them?
Not the people that I've spoken to. No.
Okay. All right. What about you?
No.
Okay. All right.
No insecurity.
Hey, ain't nobody asked me to go up in me.
What if they did? What if your wife wanted you to have anal sex?
That's one of them conversations we'll have. Oh, for real? Oh, babe, that's so nice. Let me put a little video in.
Let me get a rabbit.
You see how it gets? No, I ain't getting no rabbit up in me at all. I'm still.
No, she not you.
Oh, you talking about her?
Yeah.
Oh man, come on! I give her whatever she wants, except another dude in the bed. See, that's my limit.
Okay, so that's
you had to have your thing.
If she wanted it, would you give it to her?
What?
Anal.
Oh hell! She gonna tell me no. Give it to her, please.
All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about this little instrument here. This is called a rabbit. Oh my God!
Don't leave home without it.
Don't leave home without it. We're talking about marriage and sex and dildos and bullets and BJ Blast here on the dialogue. We're talking about marriage and sex. Please give us a call, 323-473-3100. I'm going to play with this little rabbit.
We're all going to watch.
We'll be right back.
But there's always first time, some made up my mind. Come on, baby. Soon I'll be loving, baby. That's all. Come on, baby. I made up my mind. Soon I'll be loving, girl.
Interested in advertising your business, product, or service here on The Dialogue? Call 323-547-7748. The Dialogue will help you promote your business, increase your traffic, and bring in new clients through innovative and creative marketing packages, including affordable radio ad campaigns for small businesses. Find out more. Call 323-547-7748. That's 323-547-7748. Or go to www.thedialoguela.com. And now, back to The Dialogue. The Dialogue with Starlett Quarles. Real talk, real people.
Welcome back. I am gripping on this rabbit right here. And it's waterproof.
Yeah, and most of the toys these days are waterproof.
We are talking about marriage and sex here on the dial. Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm nervous. We're talking about marriage and sex here on the dialogue. 323-473-3100. This is a rabbit. How does this work? Where does this go? What is the rabbit, Tony? Let me have you explain the rabbit.
Let me explain you the rabbit.
Yeah. How do you work the rabbit? It's waterproof.
You take the rabbit, you insert it into the vagina.
This part.
You have a number of speeds and different techniques. You go round and round.
Left and right.
And you got the little balls inside that stimulate the walls of the vagina. Then you take two fingers and you slightly open up, spread the lips of the vagina. Then you put the clitoris in between the middle. Yes, you put the clitoris in between the rabbit's ears. And when the clitoris is in between the rabbit's ears, as the penis is going around and around and the little balls on the inside, then you slightly push the woman's legs back, take your tongue and insert it very gently into the anus, and I guarantee you she will start singing My Country Tears of Thee.
You are an expert.
Well,
all of that.
I heard.
He said, I heard.
So the first 15 minutes is you. This is the last 15 minutes?
Well, no. That's the beginning.
This is how you set it
off.
off.
Take some wind out the sail. So then after you scrape her ass off the ceiling, then you bring her back to the bed and handle your business. Then order some cheesecake.
Ken, you ain't gonna try the rabbit?
No.
Why? What's wrong with the rabbit? You intimidated by the rabbit?
Absolutely. Look
at his eyes got big.
Cells, energizers. Probably got an AC connection on that thing.
Yeah. Terry, talk about the rabbit. Talk about the rabbit being one of the most popular ones.
Well, that is, I had it was years ago when I first started selling them. He's running from it.
Exactly. Why you can't be?
I had someone call me and say, I don't never need a man again. But we still need you, though. We do. She was just saying that. It was
I bet
just a
she's
joke.
doing it now.
Right now, as we speak.
Wait a second, you had some other ones, the glass ones. These are like they hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt.
Okay, but it has all the little decorations.
Isn't that pretty?
But it's like a man has veins.
Okay.
You can think of it in that way.
All right. So
then this one, it's whatever you want.
What is this part for?
You could probably rub it on the clitoris. It's more stimulation for the outside.
Okay.
Or wherever you want to put it.
And you said these are microwavable, so you can heat them up.
Put it in microwave for a few seconds.
I know you ain't
or
trying to get
run them under hot water.
Trying to get branded.
Or you can put them in the freezer. You can put
freezer. Why would you put it in the freezer?
You
want it to be cold.
What you into?
Oh, okay.
On you.
So this is for both vaginal and anal.
Yes, it could be.
Now,
all of them can be.
Okay. So and this how much is this?
Look at how this one can stand up.
How much is this?
These run from $50 to $150.
Okay, and what about the rabbit?
The rabbit, this one is $60.
Okay, and what about the bullet?
The bullets run from 20 to 50.
Your daily friend.
Yeah. Yeah,
You said
20
what?
to 50.
Are these waterproof?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's for the girl on the move. You can take it on the plane.
You put this in my bag, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So. Okay. What is Astroglide for?
So you can put the Astroglide as the lubricant. A lot of people complain about dryness or uncomfortable.
Okay.
And this just takes it away.
So how does this compare to KY jelly? Or is it similar to KY jelly?
Just lubricant.
Okay.
And non-oxynol. I mean, no. You want the ones without the non-oxynol 9 because it irritates you. This is water-based.
Okay.
It's the best kind.
All right. So Ken, you would incorporate any of these toys in your?
I don't need it. But you know what? I had a question, and the question is that I had a young lady tell me that she kept a jar of lube by the bed for her and her husband to have sex.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean she is something broke, or she just not turned on and?
No, maybe.
Yeah. How old is she?
Yeah, like 35ish.
So you're saying she's having a problem getting wet?
With him, I guess.
Okay.
Or maybe it could be size. It could be anything. Like, or you just want more. some people just like it to be slippery.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even more so than the body can produce. So
No,
it's
she
just
said I
it's
didn't
your-
get wet.
That's one of those cases where really, why are you doing it?
Okay.
And it could be her. It could be physical.
It could be physical.
Yeah, it's not necessary. It's
And
not
maybe-
always. It's
No,
just
no,
like.
no. It wasn't her.
But I'm
Okay.
saying it's
It's
just
not
like
her.
the toys. I think too often brothers confuse the toys as a substitute for them.
No, it ain't. It's an additive.
Right.
I understand. Yeah, no question, and I think that for me that's not, and I'm sure you didn't mean like that, but that's not an intimidating thing. You know what I mean? And it's just some extra fun and things that you do. No different than the porn. I mean, you don't need to watch porn every
Every
day,
day.
but it's just something that you just
So
do.
do you guys
that you both may
ever
be
dress up and
authentic.
become different people and characters like Superman and
Just naked. That's the only dress up I do.
do you guys
Yeah,
ever
my husband, he
do
just
role
really-
playing?
I mean, I would like to do it more, but my husband.
Who would
like,
you
just
wanna
take off
be?
your clothes and just
That's
get
right
busy.
there.
If you want to role play, who would you want to be?
I just want to be sexy. Whoever
Okay.
got on some high heel shoes and some fishneck or something. You know, you just
Okay, so you said what?
meet me in a bar. You know, pick me up, something like that.
Okay, all right, very good. So you said what we don't talk a lot about is intimacy and creating that mood
Yeah.
for women. So
Yes.
talk about some of the things you brought in terms of gels and candles and what do women need in order for
Yes.
them to flow?
And yes, well, this is the warming massage lotion that you. This is watermelon. What did he
Shut
say?
up! I just need.
What did he say?
Ken, I'm about to have your mic turned off. Go ahead.
So just some warming gels, the massage oils. I have candles that you burn, and then you can use the it's not wax, it's oil.
Okay.
And you know, so you set the mood, and then you use the oil in the candle, and they're scented. I have some. I have
So
to
do
find
you
it.
guys? Would you guys go
So-
through the exercise of making the candles and the flowers
Oh,
and making it nice
sure.
for her?
I failed. I tried to be I'm trying to be romantic. I'm
Okay.
really trying.
Why?
It's just because I know that's what you're supposed to do, and that's what she loves.
Okay.
She loves that. And like I said before, a couple of weeks back, you know, it's an appointment in my schedule to send her flowers.
Okay.
It's just it doesn't come natural. For
Okay.
me. And I'm okay with it because I'm working with it. You know, so this would be a whole. I mean, I've been in the stores, Pleasure Chest, you know, Sunset Hollywood. Is that Sunset? No, Little Santa Monica. But so I've been all up in there and,
Okay.
and enjoyed it. But I guess what I'm saying at the end of the day, and this is what this topic is about, is that when you decide to be with someone, be with them, do all you can to keep them happy, and hopefully they're reciprocating that.
Okay. All right. You got
I
some
want
other
to tell
toys?
sis, do me something. Can you? You said the rabbits and all them like $65. Charge lesbians more,
Why?
cause they they don't.
These are the more expensive toys that if you
Now, what
that
is
are
this?
quiet.
Now this is a quiet bullet.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like a quiet bullet. So you turn it here,
They're
and,
like on
and
remote
it has
control.
different settings. It has like 10 different settings.
How many does this one have?
I think this is just one.
This is
just
one.
the
This is
one.
get it
But they
done.
have the bullets with the 5 and 6
I'm
settings.
like, this one is vibrating a lot harder than this
That's
one.
what I'm saying. So a lot of people like this more than that. But if
I
you
can
need to be
I can see Starlett
quiet,
driving home, not going from lane to lane as she buzzing in the bullet.
Now, how much is this one compared to the bullet?
this one
Let me
is
see
like
that one.
$60.
This is like it'll hurt you.
No,
I mean,
it looked
But
like
you can
it looked
turn
like
it
it's
down.
shaped to go
You can
into your
turn it down.
panties or something, don't it?
And keep pushing the top button. And
Oh,
and
this
it-
ain't no joke.
This is a remote control.
Look
Yep.
at that.
Okay, so Ken, you had alluded a little bit earlier
Okay.
about swinging, and Sarah, I want to specifically talk to you about swinging because you had considered it once in your marriage. So talk about swinging and why you considered it. Really?
Okay.
Why did you consider swinging?
But it was one of those
how did that
conversations.
conversation
It was
come
a
out?
conversation.
Okay.
And, you know,
Who
that,
brought it up? He did or you
He
did?
did.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Were you offended? What did you say when he brought it up?
That's the thing. I wish it would have gone the way that you said, but it didn't.
Okay.
But when I found out,
Mm-hmm.
I just decided that God wouldn't put me here in a situation with this man bringing this up that I wasn't supposed to be in because
Okay.
we had been together for about 10 years at that point.
Okay.
And just me going on and researching it myself and seeing what it is. And
What-
it's
so
a
what
lot of
is
black
it?
people swinging, y'all.
So what is it?
A ton.
It's a lot.
Okay,
you know,
so explain swinging. What is it? Other than, is
Well,
it more
it
than just
depends.
having sex with another
it's,
partner?
It's just a whole. They call it the lifestyle. It's a whole lifestyle, and I think that it's what you want.
Okay.
It's what you want, and what I've really found that it's not the men who want the women. It's usually the women who want another woman,
Or another
and
man.
the man just benefits.
Okay. All right.
That's what I've found, but it could be swapping autumn. You know,
Ken,
But
have
it's
you
just
ever
different things.
considered swinging?
I ain't never considered swinging.
Okay.
Ever.
What if she wanted to swing?
She got that's something that I'm not interested in because I
Okay.
don't want another man in my bed. That's
Okay.
just me. I'm territorial.
What if she wanted to bring? What if she was open to bringing another woman? Don't be trying to laugh like
See how it's all different. It
I'm
changes.
selfish, but I'm selfish. I said that. I'm
It
controlling
changes.
it.
Oh, this smells good.
I'm
So this is a
selfish. I
candle.
said
What's the
that.
spoon for?
When the oil, when it burns down, it becomes oil, and you can
Oh,
pour
you
it
can-
on each other.
Oh, that's neat.
And it's edible.
Oh, and it's edible.
So, but don't drink it. But you know,
Yeah.
you can.
But it won't-
you can, yeah,
You
yeah.
smear it on and lick it off. It
Exactly.
ain't gonna keep. You got to call 911.
So do you think
Put the
swinging?
spoon back. Put
so-
the spoon back.
and it got cherries on the,
You
on the
okay?
cover. So do you think swinging can help or hurt?
I think it's an adult. Again, it's an adult conversation that
Okay.
people should have. I think that it's interesting you said because I, as a sister who I know who has a swing club, and she invited me to come and actually talk to the people because
About HIV and
about
AIDS?
HIV, yeah,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
and again.
Did
if-
you go? Did it stink?
Yes.
Did it stink? in
Not
there?
at all.
Does it
Not
stink?
at all.
Girl, stop.
Not I mean, it was a nice
I
home.
mean, I heard about the Green Door in Vegas, so you can go.
It was
and
a nice. I mean, you got trash everywhere. You
Okay.
got Mama Son. You got Burger King. What's going on with this conversation? but they're different levels. They're different levels, and I think that again, I think when people have honest, the challenge I would argue that people when they engage in what they call lifestyle swinging is that are you ready and mature enough to handle that? Because again. We could say, in theory, as men always talk about, well, they want two women. Well, how could you really honestly look at your wife afterwards, and would that pose a problem for you?
Correct.
And it's no different than, and I hear about this all the time. When I was little, younger rather, two of us screwed a girl at one time and whatever. We just did that. I mean,
That's what you
we
did.
didn't know it wasn't
like,
swinging.
like a train.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And it
not.
was
First of
fun.
all, it ain't nothing new.
Okay.
It's just that you
And
get
it was
older
fun.
and you put a sophisticated
Exactly.
name on it
Yeah.
to
Swinging.
justify what the hell you just did.
Exactly.
Okay.
Come
What are you
on.
looking like that for?
Yeah, like you ain't never heard of that.
I've heard of a train. Obviously, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now when you're a kid, it's a train. When you're adult, it's called gangbang.
Okay.
It's
And
the
then-
same
and
thing.
then
Okay.
swinging.
But the key is, are you mature enough? Are you
To
both
handle it.
mature enough to even to do this? And first, again, like it's a process. You got to first have the conversation and make sure your partner, even if the guy say, "Yeah, I want to do this, honey," is he gonna look at you differently afterwards?
Right.
And will your woman look at you different? Because most of the time, you guys concede just to make us happy.
Okay.
And would it
don't
do
do that.
harm or damage to the relationship?
Okay.
That's the adult thing.
Yeah.
That
And I was
mean,
unwilling to do anything that I wasn't comfortable with.
Right.
So
Okay.
I've come out of that situation just
Sure.
knowing a lot more
Sure.
but also having my dignity.
Okay.
Exactly.
About
Go ahead, sis.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the point.
All right.
That's
Very
key.
good. All right. So, Steve,
Very
let's go
good.
to the next one on best sexual partner. The survey says, did you marry the best sex of your life?
Nope.
Turns out 68% of men tied the knot with their best sexual partner, and only 45% of women said the same.
I think
so
that's
did
a
you?
lie.
So
Yes.
It's a lie.
That's
I'm
a
good.
lie.
So, huh?
No, oh, what you asking
Did
me?
you marry your best?
I'm good.
You married
Yeah.
your best sexual
Yeah,
partner?
I'm good.
Okay.
Well, of course, a current person that's married gonna say that. We understand. You can't
But
say
no,
that.
No, you can
I
say
think
you can say
if they've had other experiences, they
Yeah.
can compare.
You
I
wasn't my
bet we-
first.
He
Huh?
he wasn't the
It
first.
wasn't the first. So
No, I didn't say the first.
But
You're
I wouldn't be
currently
like,
married.
yeah.
You're currently married, so
Yeah.
of course you're not gonna say.
You're
he's
right.
third
I hear
place.
you.
Remember John?
I hear you. I hear you.
Exactly.
I
He
hear
was
you.
a bomb.
I
Yeah. So,
hear
but you
you.
gotta ask a single man.
When you got married, did you
Hell
marry?
no.
Okay.
I met her like top. She went probably in the top 25.
Oh
Okay.
Lord.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Did you marry first time? Did you marry your best sexual partner?
First time?
Your first marriage.
No.
Okay. Second marriage.
No.
So where's where's your best best
Right
sexual
now.
partner?
But again,
Was she the girl on the train?
But it go well.
the girl on the train.
But it goes. But as you get older, you ain't looking for the best piece of ass you ever had.
Okay.
You're looking for the best person.
But it says
Because that's
68% of men
well,
tied
them
the
is
knot.
white people.
Okay.
Let's just be
Exactly.
clear. That's
Exactly.
Huffington Post. They, you know what I mean? They gonna talk about their dog as their best friend
Exactly.
too. Where we going with this conversation?
Exactly.
Rover.
Okay, let's go to the final meme. Number of partners. When asked how many sexual partners they had, the most common response among men was 6 to 10. The most common response among women was 2 to 5. Yet 19% of both men and women reported having just one sexual partner. So does it matter? Does it matter to you how many partners your husband had prior to you?
No.
I dated this girl that was somewhat of a I ain't gonna say she was a loose cannon, but she had it was interesting. We go, oh yeah, that's such a you had a relationship with him too.
Yeah.
But I never
You know everybody wherever you go.
but you know what? I never judged her. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because my record was a lot worse. Number one.
A hoe can be a housewife?
I think so.
Okay.
Because everybody changed and everybody want to settle down. Number two, we had so much fun together. It didn't even matter about the rest of that stuff. Did I say that the first time or the second time?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
What?
I didn't. Again, I have always been sexually aggressive,
Okay.
and so.
Any
You like
sisters?
doing it, girl? You sure you don't like this rabbit, girl? You like this rabbit?
And
If
so,
he's tripping,
it was
girl, you
just
better get one of these rabbits and warm this shit.
not one of the conversations that
Calm her
we
down.
ever wanted to have.
Take
I
two
didn't
beats.
want to know. He didn't want to know. It's
Nobody
not
wanted to
because
know.
it doesn't really
It
matter.
doesn't. It doesn't.
Ultimately, when we hook up, it's what's going to go on. I can't keep my head in what you may have done prior to me
Period.
being
So
there.
can you marry someone who used to date a friend of yours? I mean, do you have friends who used to
It would
marry
depend
one
on
of your exes?
How much time went by?
Okay.
We couldn't have divorced
Can you-
last week, and now you guys are hooking up.
Okay. Your husband was one of your friends' exes?
She being honest.
Don't justify, sister.
You been honest so far.
Don't justify. You got the flow.
Well, she wasn't no good. I know.
What had happened was?
What had happened was it wasn't on purpose.
Oh, okay. It ain't
No,
never
I'm
on
just
purpose.
kidding. I didn't take him from her, but they.
My type of woman.
I
don't like her
didn't.
either.
But it's really interesting. He was around for somebody else.
Okay.
But I asked her permission.
Oh, okay.
I asked her. And
That's
she
unique.
said yes. Because they had not, well, people
Okay.
say they ain't doing
All right.
nothing. But
So could you marry one of your homeboys' exes, or date one of your friends who you knew they were intimate?
Not my top 4 friends.
Okay.
But everybody 5 on down
Right.
wouldn't be a problem. Because what happens is, remember, I've been around them, and they've been like a sister to me.
Okay.
Kind of incestuous.
Okay. All right.
No, I couldn't do that.
You couldn't do it?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's talk about just marriage. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, but this number is kind of low for a lot of people, women I know. So that's all I wanted to add.
You said what?
That number. for
Oh
women,
yeah,
it's
I mean
really
it
low.
does seem low.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
for I think this demographic is probably
Why I
low.
think that number is low is because I think that women have been programmed
To say.
that it's a low number because anything higher up
Yeah.
would make her
And I
look.
think, yeah, the most
listen,
common
you know.
response, men 6 to 10. Come on
And,
now.
and it's ridiculous.
That's
because
low
you
for
had-
men.
You had 10 when you came out of high
That's
school.
ridiculous. It's like when I used to
I
go
had
out.
10 this year.
Right.
That's a lie, because I've been in a relationship this
You
year.
better clean it up.
Last year, before October, I think she said our anniversary was October or November.
Okay.
Before then, I had 10.
Okay.
But
Clean it up.
I think it's a ridiculous. Like for instance, when I used to date, people like I was never gonna ask because 2 was too many for me.
Two was too
so
many?
so when someone would ask me, "Well, Tony, have you been into how many girls you been with?" I would say generally none. It was just you. And then
Why you lie?
Well, I wasn't lying because I would just follow that up with my world didn't begin until we met. So all that other shit don't even matter. I'm sorry.
And it worked.
Every
It
time.
worked.
Let me write that down. Say that one more time. I write that one down.
No, you don't write that one down.
My world
Didn't
didn't
begin
November
till I met
last
you.
year.
So it don't even matter what
I love
happened
you,
before
baby.
that.
Don't you write that
Work it
down?
out.
So to talk about just the benefits of marriage, especially from a sexual standpoint, what is the benefit and the purpose of marriage, and how should we define sex in a marriage?
I think my mind is just more free.
Okay.
As a married woman, I know I can do whatever.
You're
I
more
want,
uninhibited?
Whatever I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right.
Same thing. I think that it's a playground where we get to try anything, do anything, be any kind of way, and it's safe. I don't have to worry about being judged. I don't have to worry about being shamed. I could try it. He could try it, and we're still good.
Okay. So is sex better in a marriage than outside of marriage?
Oh, clearly because
Why is it good? Why for you?
it reminds me of a guy used to in African. We always define or acknowledge our women as our house, and you say that that's your house because it's shelter and a warm place for you. And shelter is always a place where you find a level of comfort and ease, and it's a warm place, not just physically inside the woman, but where you can be warm and you can be comfortable. And in that comfortable state, you can be and speak your truth and be who you are. So it's clearly a good place to be.
Okay, Ken.
I ain't never had a wonderful sexual life in marriage, so I can't answer that question.
No.
Don't say all for me. It's cheaper to get rid of her.
So what would you say, Ken, then? Well, what are some of the misperceptions that, especially our generation, what are some of the misperceptions that people have about sex in marriage? What do we believe?
But I think it's just that your woman can't be a freak. You
Okay.
know, you can't marry a woman that wants to be a swinger or wants to give head all the time or want to go to the strip club. Hey man, look. If she makes you happy, I gives a damn what she does to make you happy.
But last time you were on it, Tony, you said you knew of some guys who didn't want to have oral sex with their husband. Like that, it's like that Madonna whore complex, and that they wanted to do that with their mistress or their girlfriend, but that their wife, they didn't want.
Yeah, they
them.
want to keep them in
But what if she wants to? What if she want to use the bullet? What if she wants to stick this in your booty? I mean, what?
What I said,
her booty, right? Her booty.
What I said was is that these guys. What I said was they have relationships outside of the out of marriage because they're not comfortable having these conversations at home.
It's the conversation they're not comfortable having.
And then once you have the conversation, it may or may not segue into that. But what happens more often than not, just for us to be able to say, this is who I am, this is what I like, you ain't got to necessarily do it.
Okay.
But there's a level of trust and comfort that comes from me just telling you, honey, I have fantasies of this, that, and the other. And if she's cool, she may or may not do it, but she'll also be willing to open and say, honey, we can't do that shit. But we can do this.
Or like my buddy said, hey, babe, schedule a trip and let's go out the country. So that was pretty cool. My boy, he really enjoyed that.
Okay. So what would you say are some of the things that black women need to know about sex in a marriage? What do they need to know?
I think that I was always told, if I had a husband, every night I'd be on him, and then that's not true. Like it's just because you have another person in the bed doesn't mean you're gonna have sex. It's not all the time.
Nope.
It's important. Like we said, it's 9 and 10. But it's not the most important thing in the relationship.
So it's important that you have sex all the time, or was that your expectation that you were going to have sex every day once you got married?
I thought so.
Okay. Every day?
I was doing it every day, so why would it stop or slow down? So,
all right.
But I understand life. But my rule is really, I don't want a week to go by because see that week turns into 10 days, turns into 2 weeks. Then you have the menstrual cycle coming. Now you into 2 months.
So are you happy with at least once a week?
I ain't happy at once a week.
Okay, so
but I understand things happen, so it may only be one time, 1 week.
Okay.
But for the most part, no, I need 3-4 times a week.
Okay.
But that's because he's not married.
Okay.
But I'm in a cool relationship. I'm in a cool relationship.
But are you living? I'm saying, are you living in the same house?
We live 6 minutes away.
Okay, but you don't have to see her if you don't want to. That's my point. So when you see her, it's more of a like fireworks.
But you know what it is too? Excuse me, I mean to point over you. But the other thing is we talked about life and responsibility.
Right.
But it also I'm dating someone that's okay with her body.
Exactly.
She's okay with the sexuality. She doesn't it ain't like pulling teeth. Like you said, you want your woman to initiate. She don't have no problem with it. Back a couple of times she told me it's been 6 days. I said, well, baby, 4 days, it was impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, it was? Yeah, well, okay. Well,
so you don't ever have sex when a woman's on her period?
No, I ain't.
Okay.
But you know what? That's me. I got issues. And let me have my issues.
You ever have sex when your wife is on a period?
Man, I ain't got no problem with that. That's just some extra joy juice. That's all it is. Matter of fact, white boy told me one time, just eat around it, Tony. It ain't no big thing. But let me say this still.
You have to ask us, Starlett. Do you?
Just get everybody got a black towel in their cabinet, though. Then you put the black towel on the butt and handle your business.
They don't have to be black.
Well, that looks ugly on a white towel. I'm sorry.
You don't want it staining.
Yeah, black towel covers up.
Throw it away.
So again, so what do black women need to know about sex and marriage? One thing.
What else? I told you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, what do black women need to know?
But I thought water stops it.
It does when you go swimming.
Or how about the bathtub?
Okay.
It does.
Yeah. And it just
Okay.
That there is no throw all the things that you thought it was going to be out the window.
Okay.
And you have to create whatever rules are going to go down in your house.
Okay.
Emotionally, physically, sexually, all of that. You have to create it. There is no storybook life. It is whatever you create, and that's what it's going to be. And if you don't put the work and the time in, then you're not going to get the results.
Okay, so before we go, Sarah, I want people to find you to get all these little toys. How can people find you, sweetie?
You can go to after5intimates.com.
And can I give your number here?
You can give my phone number.
No. Okay, go to afterintimates.com.
Everybody gonna be calling me.
You do parties?
Yes, I will do parties. You can email me at after5intimates@gmail.com.
Okay, so then after you sweat and open up your pores, you go to Renee.
Exactly.
And I do faces.
I have a Facebook page. I do faces, and I'm in Limerick Park. And yes, I can take us. Sweat does some things to your skin.
Yeah.
And you might want to come see me.
Ken,
You can't find me. I keep trying to tell you. Call the IRS building over there in El Segundo. I'm waiting on them.
are you gonna get some of these toys to take home to your girl?
I'm gonna take that card.
I think you need to take this rabbit.
No. That's
Why are you scaring the rabbit?
I'm gonna take the card and I'm gonna let her choose, and we're gonna go on vacation.
Sound good.
Tony, you taking some toys home?
I can
He
sell
got
her some toys. You know what I'm saying?
Got a check.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to our show today on marriage and sex. Sarah Aiken, Renee Chapman, Kenneth Fleming, Tony Wayford, my producer Steve Burt. Thank you. Next month I am going on vacation. I'm taking my bullet and I'm going on vacation. So I'll be back in October. We're going to tune into the best of the dialogue so far in 2013, starting next week for the month of September. I will be back live in October. Thank you so much for tuning in for these past couple of months, talking about the dynamics of Black relationships. We hope that you are healing your relationships outside of our four walls. So call in and let us know if you've used any of these toys in your marriage. So thank you so much again for joining. Signing off as my mama's child and my daddy's baby girl. Until October. Until then.